Where was I at? It does occur to me how odd it is. I can't even fucking enter the swamp. That is, you know, well, what's the fucking point? what's even the point of cleaning up the swamp if I can't fucking enter it? So fine for me, like, it recognizes when I do it.
We're the rats.
What's up, Crisp?
By the way, just thought you should know, for the first few months you won't be covered by the free healthcare. It's normally covered by other provinces when you move, but it's not if you're moving from the States. Also, please convince me to just spend a $50 on a vinyl I really want to get, as it has a lot of music tracks I love on it.
You are allowed to purchase that when/if you get the new job. And that's where that $50 should go. That is good to know. To be honest, as an American, I am unfortunately quite used to the idea of no free healthcare. So, you know, that's it's a bit like telling someone, like, you know, it's like, oh, you're gonna have to work 40 hours a week. I'm like, okay, you know, that we are evil aliens who will force you to work 40 hours a week, and I'm like, okay, that, you know, nothing is meaningfully changed. But yeah, I will probably keep that in mind. So I will probably want to, like, get, like, some extra meds for, like, the first couple of months then. But it's also because, like, I'm coming in, like, you know, it's the kind of thing I should probably, like, talk to, like, an immigration lawyer about. Because the process, like, I can see now why lawyers do immigration cases, is because the process is very, opaque at times. Because I was like, hey, you know, I specifically did Google searches where I'm like, hey, if I'm coming into Canada for, like, via express entry, can I, like, apply for, like, a work permit in the meantime? So that way, like, I can apply for jobs with the knowledge that, like, I will be, you know, I will be legally allowed to work there. And the answer was, like, yes, but only if you're already in Canada. I'm like, okay, great, that's very helpful, but also... Oh, well. Why am I fucking washing the sand? Anyways. Yeah, that's something, like, I'm looking at. Cause, like, I you know, it's one of those things where it's like, am I allowed to apply to the places where, they specifically want someone who's going to be legally able to work in Canada because I'm specifically using that job as another bullet point to be like, hey, I want to legally live in Canada? I don't know. My answer, like, my assumption is probably no, because, you know, bureaucracy. That would be my immediate assumption, so I'm just going to keep applying to the ones where it's like, yeah, we welcome applicants from outside of Canada, so you know. Definitely, a process that does bear many questions. I think I had a conversation with Lucien, who is a, I believe they relocated to Canada, and they did so through a program for students, and I'm like, well, shit, no longer a student. Haven't been a student for, like, fuck me, it's been like 4 years. That is kind of wild to think about, to be honest. What are these? Swamp floor rootney? I'm sure this fly star. You don't remind me. This may has been 6 years for me. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to remind you that of the inevitable entropic passage of time. Because I graduated in 2021. So like literally like right as the quarantine was coming to the end, they were distributing the vaccines. Welcome on in, Foxy. Glad to have you, sweet man. Like right as the like vaccine was getting like brought out. How are you, Sturkey? I'm doing all right. I'm I like all things considered. I actually am like I feel like my mood is so much dependent on like did work go well, and work actually did go relatively well today. So like I'm happy about that. But yeah, it is weird to think like I actually probably like. I probably joined the workforce at the worst time to do so since, like, the 2008, like, crisis, you know? Like, the 2008 recession. Starkey's entropy is entropy an advanced way to measure time? Yeah, okay. How specific in the mathematics and physics do I want to get? The answer for most use cases is yes. The answer for most use cases is yes. The answer for like subatomic particle physics is no. Imagine moving somewhere, getting a job, and then being told don't work for them. They treat their employees horribly. They make you work 35 hours a week, have a limit on the time you can take off, and barely help you join the union. I mean. I'm hoping that that's like what the experience of like moving to Canada is, where I'm like, yeah, like this, like I get told like, oh, don't apply there, that place sucks, and I apply there, and it's like, actually, it's like way better than anything I've experienced. Because like I am, I think, in a relatively like weird position right now, because people are like actively in the process of being like, we don't want junior devs, and I'm still kind of in my junior dev phase. I'm under 5 years of experience, so I technically, like, I'm barely employable, but, dang, I almost turned the stream into a mass stream. Imagine moving somewhere, but no, like, I gotta stretch real quick. I'm trying to think of, like, you know, like, it's one of those things where I look at, you know... I look at the world and I'm like, wow, everything is falling apart just in time for me to exist. You know? I'm so glad I was born just in time for reality to shit itself and everyone to die horribly and painfully. This song has some very specific lyrics. I believe this is Ivy Comb, right? Anti-villain? Okay, yes. Okay, inside time it is. It does feel a little bit silly to pressure wash a shitter. I do wonder how the universe will go when it reaches the end of its natural lifespan. I mean, okay, there's some theories that posit not that like basically there are theories to propose alternatives to the Big Bang Theory. There's definitely the idea of like the Big Crunch. Basically, at some point in a universe that like a heat death universe is one that just, like, there's no differentiation between any specific 2 points. The idea is, like, at some point, something spontaneously happens that causes the heat death universe to undergo a Big Bang. And it's generally referred to as the Big Crunch theory. Is the idea that, like, there is, you know, that or like the you know, trampoline, the, like, things, like, spread out and then they contract, and they spread out and contract, like, you know. The healthcare is horrible. You have to pay for cosmetic surgery. They don't even give you vouchers for food if you have an allergy. I mean, it to some degree, it is like the, there's the post that I do think about occasionally where it's like, you don't realize you live in Space Australia until you see the rest of space. I do like to think that, like, you know, Is the Earth just like a fucking penal, like space penal colony? It fucking feels like it sometimes. But no, like that is to some degree silly. But like I do sincerely, like, I imagine any species, like any sentient species that is smart enough to develop space travel over long distances, I think has to like necessarily approach more of a socialist. Like I think it's socialism or die in regards to like society. Like feudalism and capitalism are meaningful stepping stones from like, straight up like anarchy to, feudalism, and then from feudalism to capitalism, and then from capitalism to socialism. Or who knows, maybe there's something even beyond socialism. The big crunch theory is true, that would explain how I almost always feel like I've done everything before. But yeah, no, I do like to imagine that, like, if there are aliens that are watching, they're probably just like, oh, this is like the fucking our like, our phase where we almost went from like capitalism to techno feudalism. I'll be honest with you, I don't understand the outside chair. Actually, hold up. Can you? Okay, so there is an inside. But yeah, no, like, I do, and maybe, maybe it's because, like, I'm like, oh, the people who experience feudalism probably couldn't barely conceptualize capitalism, and the people who experience capitalism, we have a pretty good idea of what socialism looks like, but maybe there's a step beyond socialism. Either way, I think that's our next step in regards to, like, being a functioning interplanetary species. Okay, we're making progress. Oh, good God. Do I have to clean the... I mean, I guess it makes sense. You do need to clean the palette, but also... You know what, I never thought about, like, how did the signs get there, but I guess it does make sense that he would need to have, like, an easel and a palette. The questions about Shrek lore you don't consider until you're forced to fucking clean in it. It's like the the idea of like world building, where it's like if enough thought has been put into world building. Welcome on, Brianna. What have you, sweet bean? I watched a Delta and Snowgrave animatic, and I do like. It felt vile. Oh, probably. I can only imagine. To be fair, the Snowgrave route's fucked up, man. Well, thank you for the 49 minis, you sweet bean. Where was I at? The brain. What the fuck was I talking about? What was I having ADHD sucks. That is all I will say on the matter. I actually, like, I'm trying to retrace my brain steps. It's easier when I'm retracing someone else's brain steps. If they ask for Starky's attention. I mean, you could, but, like, that is, like, one of the theories about, like, where the idea of Fae came from. Like the idea that, like, Fae were basically a medieval understanding of, like, neurodivergence. That, like, oh, like, like, my child was replaced with a changeling was to, like, explain the, like, sometimes overnight appearance of, like, neurospicy behavior. Being like, oh, like, suddenly your child starts acting different one day, and it's like, it's the Fae, the Fae got him and replaced him with, like, a Fae creature. Which, like, is you know, it's one of those things where it's like it's not great with the benefit of like, you know, retrospect and like the knowledge we have nowadays to paint, you know, entities that behave differently than you expect as like entirely different, you know. I wouldn't put it past them if some of the heroes from Myst are neurodivergent. I mean, fair, that is like, I can't remember if it was Zoroastrianism, where like there was mythology spaced around the idea of like basically gods got into a drunken pissing contest, where they're like, hey, let's fuck up some, let's make some fucked up humans that are broken and wrong, and like let's like challenge the other person to find like a life for them that's happy and fulfilling. And they're like, yeah, I broke this human's legs. It's like, okay, you know, power of congrats, I made them a weaver, and now they work in the, you know, in the king's court. I'm making a baked potato, but like deviled eggs, by the way. So you're like scooping out the potato and mashing it with a bunch of stuff and putting it back into the potato skin. That's not a baked potato. You're making potato skins. That's a potato skin. To be honest with you, I would like to eat more potato. Potato is not particularly conducive to a meal prep style of life, unfortunately. I like potatoes. My mom calls it twice baked potatoes. I like potatoes, but I unfortunately, like, you know, it's difficult to find a way to prepare them where they're also like just as good the next day. They are famously quite bad at reheating. So like, you know, I just don't eat a whole lot of them. I like my potato crispy. Do you like your, I think it's called Hasselback potatoes, where like it's, like you basically cut like a bunch of like individual little like slits into it to basically make like little chips, and then put oil on it and fry it. My brain always wants to say Hasselhoff potatoes, and I'm like, that's not right. That's not right. That's that's the one guy from SpongeBob, and nothing else. I mean, I say that, but I actually, like, I think the only time I've ever seen Hasselhoff do anything is in SpongeBob. Potatoes au gratin, poutine. That, I suppose that, like, that's something I gotta be ready for. Although I think I'm, like, because I when I am in Canada, I am gonna want to visit friends. So I imagine DA will, like, want to, like, when I do visit Quebec, he'll be like, oh, Starkey, we have to go for poutine. Like, you know, I'm like, okay, fair enough. Do I save it for poutine? Long-term planning. Long-term planning is not my fucking skill set. I'll be honest with you. I by no means am I a long-term planning kind of bird. My planning is like, I do the next step. Everything else beyond the next step does not exist. Not real. It is fake. It's fabrication. Remember Tim Hortons is fucking overrated garbage to be skipped? We have Tim Hortons here in America. They're like fine. You cannot convince me otherwise. Gay potatoes are best potatoes? Poutine are gay potatoes. Wait, what do you mean? Why are poutine gay potatoes? Because they're like covered in a creamy white sauce? Oh, that's homophobic. I'm kidding, of course. You know what, Starkey mashes your potatoes? Good luck making fries now. You can make fries out of mashed potatoes. You just have to add some potato or cornstarch. David H. has aged so much that he kind of looks like Chris Hansen. I said what I said. But, like, why? Why are they called gay potatoes? I need to go on the record. You see, Don't mind me pushing my, clearly not, you know, pushing my chest, which clearly does not have a wire on it, closer to your mouth. What were you saying about gay potatoes? See, I call you Chris Handsome. Boondocks was crazy. Boondocks was crazy for that. But with the kind of person Chris Hansen ended up turning into, I do think it's extra funny now. It's like even funnier now because Chris Hansen ended up turning into like, you know, kind of an asshole. He ended up becoming basically like a right-wing pundit, which is sad. It does lead further credence to the idea that he stopped doing To Catch a Predator because he caught, you know, someone powerful. that it does kind of, you know, suggest, like, lend credence to that idea that, poutine confused the fuck out of me. Is why his French Canadian homies got me some. I thought it was some kind of pudding, and then a French guy threatened to spit in our food. The lasagna's empty, by the way. I'm sorry. I don't understand. You have my condolences, I think. It's because there's an entire like fucking hour-long video about like, yeah, like what is the legacy Chris Hansen left behind, and it's fucking real sad in retrospect. The dude was like clearly in it for the popularity and not because he was a good person. He was, in fact, in retrospect, a deeply, deeply shitty person. Which sucks, because it's like, oh, you know. I'm glad we got, like, Steve Irwin. We got at least, like, one, you know, role model of a person who was genuinely good and will be remembered as such. Because his kids are carrying on his legacy. Welcome on in, Jaren. Can we just shout for Jaren? So what's going on here? You're making this building dirty? No, we're cleaning the dirt off of the building. Welcome on in, Snaps. Good to have you, Sweet Bean. This is the Shrek DLC for Powerwash Sim. So we're cleaning up a swamp, which, you know, you can argue the efficacy of that. Thank you for the boop. I guess to be fair, like, birds don't really have noses. They have, like, nostrils, but it'd mostly be a boop on the beak. But yeah, poutine. I want to give authentic poutine a try. I'm not the huge. I enjoy cheese curds. We have them a lot here in the Midwest. Mostly because fried cheese curds is like a pretty common like side. Oh, there's the seam. Try the cheese curds, they say. They were right. Because they're most like, they don't really taste like much, but they do have a they have a texture to them, and it's like eating like pure fat, but in a way that's socially acceptable, I guess, is like the best way to describe cheese curds. Thank you for the lurk. We will continue to be. Is Miku okay? No. Ever since Germa 985 stole her job, she's not been okay. I don't fully understand the connection between Germa 985 and Miku, and at this point I think it's funnier if I don't try at all to comprehend it and just roll with it. Cheese curds are yeah, it's like tiny mozzarella sticks. They have a little bit of a squeak to them, which, you know, might be a turn off depending on your personal preference for mouthfeel. But I'm pretty sure Germa still streams. Like, in fact, I'm like 100% sure. I definitely like I've seen him stream somewhat recently. I wish I could hang out at his streams more. I like squeaky. Yep, yeah, Jaren. Squeaky cheese good. It's the cheese that makes you squeaky. I mean, listen, if you could actually get cheese that makes someone squeaky, you would sell that for a fuck ton. I love cheese curds. Squeaky Orca. Yeah, Squeaky Orca would also probably be very excited about the prospect of the cheese that makes you squeaky. I was already squeaky for like an hour today. That's, you know what, respect. Live whatever makes you happy. Sometimes you just gotta put on something that, because it's really, really comfy. Rat TF cheese. Cheese. I need to do more TF stuff. Like that, I do want to do more TF stuff. I keep... What's up, Chris?
We're the rats.
Starkey, let's do some word association.
Okay.
Among
Man.
is this.
A shrimp?
Buddy.
All
All I want for.
Karmas. It was among and not a man. I was like, woman. I've done a few TF stuff before. It's fun but hard the same. Yeah, because it's like you're drawing like the you have to have knowledge of both the species that it's being TF'd from as well as the one that's being TF'd to. Thank you for the save reminder, even though we're not doing art. That money goes into the piggy bank for crisps, cheese. All of those points, all of those data points. I need to try it, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I keep drawing Starkey in different forms, but I never think to be like, what if I draw the in-between form and make it a TF sequence? Because my fucking, you know. Do you even sussy Bababaka and be good at arbitrarily hybridizing the designs? I think it does help a little bit if you start with human, like as the base, because there's a lot of ways to hybridize humans to other species. Not that I don't think I can, I just don't think I can do it correctly all the way because I think I would need to get a lot of sequence stats. Single frame one's harder. That's fair. Like I said, I think there's a reason that most TF sequences are like actually sequences. It occurred to me if I commission my first piece that's TFs an explicit, the TF's an expensive kink because it costs extra for each in-between state. Yep. I was lucky if Starkey isn't associated among us, among with us. No, I associate it. I just when Crisp said it, I heard a man instead of among, and so my brain was like woman. There's also texture changes you need to do in art because there are times when the textures change, like the scales, latex, or skin to fur. Yeah. Weird. That had so much gunk on it. It just sometimes I feel like there's like the tuning on how much gunk you need to get off before it like is fully cleared is a little bit bizarre. Black and white covers so many crimes. Yeah. Armchair lamp. I was thinking these are like animal skins. Let's see. Lamp. Is this Pokemon music? Yes, it is. Me when I'm a moth. Lamp. Lamp. Listen, sometimes you just gotta you don't gotta be a moth to appreciate lamp, but it does help. But also, like there are certain things where I'm like, it would be fun to see Starkey drawn as like a moth. Moths are cute. I feel like in terms of like insect like sonas, I can definitely see like why moth is one of the more popular ones. Because moth is fluffy. The AC bug me went crazy, and yes. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I didn't necessarily know that, because like how many bug sonas really are out there? It evolved into worshipping lamp. You know what? Fair point. Well, come on in, Casper House. Gotta get sweepy. It's like how every bird meet and greet inevitably, does devolve into the like bird, 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 bird. You just chant bird. The bird brain rot does set in. There were like 30 to 40 of us there. That's actually pretty impressive. I probably should not have tried to skip dinner with a meal replacement shake because I'm actually quite hungry right now. You should see the Bori crowd. Aren't you part of like a Bori like Telegram group chat? We would Discord where we go Bori at each other. You know what? Fair enough. I guess to be fair, like that is the thing with like lesser known species. I feel like it's like you can't really do that with every like fox or wolf you see, because like they're so common that like it you know, it's not that it's not special. It's like not that there's like the, you know, you get that immediate connection where you're like, oh hey, a fellow, you know, person of the same species, but just that it's like a lot more muted. You see birds see birds, and we're like that is a bird. We are recognizing in bird in this moment. The bird hive mind is very real and very strong. I feel like this, like, because there's dirt back here. I just can't get all of it. Anyways. I can't imagine roots provide for significant structural support. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm sure they provide some. You'd be surprised. I guess to be fair, they are just like pure wood, but also like the trade-off is just that like you can't really control where they are. Roots are used for structural engineering all the time. I guess so. You know, I can reasonably see that, but they're probably like they aren't taken into consideration a lot of the time because it's like they're a bit unwieldy. Roots are flexible depending on the species. Interesting. So you just take the roots and you weave them into like structural support. I guess like that does make it so that way like the structural support actually gets stronger over time as opposed to weaker. But also like that, you know, it does mean that like you're constantly having to worry about like them going where they're not supposed to. Roots are basically like very slow-moving eldritch bullshit. They don't really care what is in their way. They will continue. Plants don't really have concepts of boundaries. They will grow into and through and around just about anything. If you've seen a fence that has like disappeared into the void of like a root system, you know the horror. Your plant's like, is this a rock? Well, it was a rock. Let me just like you know, sneak right by, and oh, the rock exploded from, you know, excess pressure. Oopsie. Anyway, I'll just take all this space for myself. And then get wider, exactly. It's like, you know, you gotta plant like the most hostile, like aggressive growing plants right next to each other. Put fucking like mint next to like, I don't know, like I'm trying to think of other plants that are like incredibly incredibly resilient, and just have them fucking duke it out. I know mint is the mint, bamboo, fucking kudzu. Put them in a terrarium and see which one wins. Is catnip also like impossible to remove once it's in? I definitely have seen videos of people being like, yeah, we planted catnip and that was a fucking huge mistake because it draws all the like local cats. If I remember correctly, catnip is a type of mint. I did not know that. That's fascinating, actually. You know, like, it does kind of support my theory that, like, humans find certain scents appealing, and I think it's because a lot of those scents end up having, like, natural antibiotic properties. Like, we like, oh, yeah, like, you love the smell of lilac, and, like, pure lilac oil is actually, like, incredibly hostile to bacteria. So we're like, yeah, let's fucking coat ourselves with this lilac oil, because it smells good, but it also, it murders all the bacteria. It's like, it's the same way that, like, cats use catnip, because, like, I think catnip has, like, it's not, I'm not sure if it's, like, antimicrobial or anti-parasitic properties, but like, catnip and catgrass, like, all do have, like, you know, like properties to prevent things that cats don't like. But regardless, you have to dig deep to ensure you get every speck of bamboo root out of the ground, or it will come back. Yeah, just put in a fucking battle with, like, mint, catnip, kudzu. See which one comes out on top, and same with Polysandra or Pachysandra. I don't recognize Pachysandra. Kudzu springs to mind because it's famously the root that, or it's the vine that ate the South. They had to, like, fucking bring in goats. They had to bring in goats to, like urban areas because the kudzu there is so thick people can't get anywhere. Don't visit the South, y'all. Pachysandra is a common ground cover plant that gets about 5 to 6 inches high. Interesting. I feel like a lot of the times, like, the stuff that's, like, you know, like, a lot of this ends up being invasive species. Like, the stuff that, like, is truly resilient. People love to put it in places they never want to think about again because it's invisible and self-leveling. That's fair. I mean, I'm sure there's, like, some, like, knock-on events for, like, nearby flowers and shit. Because, like, no plant is truly, like, without impact. Invincible. Okay, that makes... I was supposed to say, it's like, invisible? Like, I interpreted that as being like, oh, yeah, it doesn't, like, impact nearby plants. And, like, you know, I'm like, maybe, but also. That seems like not how plants work. Turns out when you're doing anything with, like, natural elements, you do have to take in consideration the fact that nature is fucking really aggressive with itself and each other. Yeah, we'll easily choke out almost everything, so no need to even mulch those areas. I would love to have, like, you know, it's a fever dream, but I would love to have, like, a little, like, cottage out in the woods where I could do, like, you know, biocultural farming and just, like, have the plants do most of the work. And just be like, yeah, I just want to raise, like, chickens and shit. Welcome on, Cam. Glad I guess we show for Chimera and Dragonite. Who up trying to commit credit card fraud? Not me. I need to, continue to not commit crimes until I fully located a Canada. And then I will continue to not commit crimes in Canada. Canada, let me in. Please. Please, Canada, I beg of you. I'm just a little bird. But yeah, how are you holding up, Cam? Good to have you. We are vibing this fine evening, doing some power washing. Can I commit crimes for you? I legally have to say no. You must commit the crimes for yourself. If I happen to benefit by happenstance, I don't fully understand the legal implications of that. So, like, probably stay away from those as well. I'm starving, actually. Go get food! I'm also, like, kind of right there with you, though. Like, I'm trying something a little bit different this week, where I'm, like, I don't really have, like, backup food planned. You know, like, I planned for lunch, and I didn't really plan for dinner, because I got, like, meal replacement shakes, and I'm like, that should be enough, and, like, I don't think it's enough. I might go, like, scarf down some cookies or whatever. Like, you know, during the ad break, of course. Commits crimes and leaves Borb, so it gets blamed instead. I mean, that still implicates me. All right. Yeah, we are surviving a oopsie doopsie didn't eat dinner situation here. Is this the alien? Who is this like Vocaloid? Because I always think of it as being associated with that one Alien song. I guess today is just the day of like discussing aliens. Because we were talking about them earlier, and now my brain's back on them. I just had some chicken burning my throat. I mean, you gotta be careful with hot cock. Hold up, I got the sound effect. I was struggling to get it out. You know, after the first part of the Shrek DLC took for fucking ever, but the rest of it's been going relatively fast. But it was too hot to finish swallowing. How fucking hot was that chicken? Like I feel like once it's in the throat, it stops hurting me at least. Maybe I also have like a little bit of like insensitivity to pain. I hadn't considered that. Because I've never been like, oh yeah, it's like it's in my throat, and I'm like, well, it's too hot still. Didn't hurt until it hit the throat, and it really throttled me. That's fair. It's definitely like there definitely been times where I'm like I eat something that's like so hot, and then I can feel it like in my chest as it goes down my throat. Because it's so hot that it gives me like a minor heartburn as it goes down. Not the best experience, I'll be honest with you. I do not actively pursue experiencing that one because it is quite unpleasant. All right. Powerwash Sim, it is your time. I hate furniture. I think that's the thing about Powerwash Sim. Like, I'm like, I don't like the furniture. Get this furniture shit out of here. I'm here for the curtains. Man, I'm well worn. I don't know. It's just like something about this Monday feels like a fucking like this feels like a Monday of like just survive. Current goal is survive. I definitely know my fucking body's been out of sorts. I did check to see if this was the backup cube because it is it is notably an artist that does appear on the backup queue. So I was like, is this? But no, it turns out that someone actually requested the song. This is a heat wave anyway. I don't necessarily know if the heat wave's hitting here in the Midwest. It might be. All right. There's definitely certain times where dubstep growls do make me laugh, and that was one of them. Like, I get what they're going with musically speaking, but it is very silly that it's just it's basically just like a kid fiddling around with a piano. It's just two notes in a rhythm. Honestly, dubstep opera slaps. That's a very bizarre mix. I'm gonna be honest with you. Oh, Diaxo, thank you for your subscription for goodness gracious 3 months. Enjoy that. It's a sweet beam. How are you holding up, you sweet panda? All right, there we go. Good. House floor. Oh, you know, we are currently in the process of just doing some cleaning and yapping. I'm doing good, just kind of here and being cozy. I appreciate that. That's you know, definitely for whatever reason. Like I said earlier, I was out of sorts. My body is doing some weird shit right now, so I'm definitely glad I can provide a more comfy atmosphere. God knows that's where I'm at right now. Myosotis by M2 used dubstep opera, and it's so well done. Okay, interesting. It is funny to me to some degree. Opera is very, very different than a lot of music where like, you know, a lot of music that at least I was grown up listening to. Do you need a big panda lay on you to squish all the something out? No. Because it's some out of its tummy issues. I don't want to be squished in case, you know, it's squished for tummy issues reason. Welcome on in, Jin. Glad to have you sweeping. Can we get a shout out for Diaxo and one for Jin Sunset? How you doing, you sweet Borb? The Myosotis is a classical opera. But yeah, it's just like weird. My body's doing some weird stuff right now. Nothing painful, just like bizarre, and I don't trust it. Yeah. Yeah, I get those issues a lot. I might be getting something for it soon. Hopefully that works. Here's hoping. Chronic health issues fucking suck. It is kind of wild to me how many, like, I guess to be fair, I shouldn't say like wild because it does make sense, but there's a lot of VTubers that have like very, very serious chronic health issues. I'm good working on some stream stuff, then gonna get a late workout. Hell yeah, get that buff in. You gotta get the chicken breast to flex. Obligatory. Every single bird has heard that joke so many times. True. I am very much an encourager in regards to big. But yeah, I'm back. Welcome back from work, Erratic. Not even being Starkey. Is 5,224 camp supplies enough in BG3? Camp Cool? I didn't go through a tenth of that. I went through less than a tenth of that. It's too much. Welcome back, Corvus. TK, welcome on, Raiders. Can we get a shout out for TK? Welcome on in, Raiders. Those who don't know, Psychomorph, Big Get Chaos Creator Internet, Bryce, your live every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, from 7 to 10 PST. Mostly play indie games, however, every Tuesday, Friday, last year now, learned how to do smart. We are currently just chilling and doing some Powerwash sim. What were you up to? How was Apex Legends? Here, let me get the Twitch chat out. How's Powerwash? Powerwash is a lot of fun. Excuse me? I'm not in the right position on my keyboard? There we go. It was good. I'm glad to hear that. I've never played Apex, so I'm glad that it went well at least. I tend to be like, I'm not the hugest fan of battle royale style things. I think Apex Legends is a battle royale style thing. But yeah, no, I'm glad it went well. If you like big buff and big soft men, TK is the place to be. He draws both of them very, very well. Yeah, we're currently working through the Shrek DLC. I was also drawing I was drawing Asol. I don't think I recognize like the Pokemon Absol, or is like another furry like character that I'm unfamiliar with. Because I recently discovered that apparently a lot of people were really heavily influenced by Card Buddy Fight. Oh, Aurelion Soul. Okay. Heck yeah. A League? Okay. I did not realize that was a League character. The dragon in League of Legends. Yeah, I unfortunately, I don't keep up with League of Legends, but hey, I'm glad for more big soft dragon. If you had to make a food soda, what food would you be? That's an incredibly horny question. Acel is his nickname? Okay. But yeah, no, I'll be sure to check it out after stream, because, you know, Aurelian's a hot celestial Dirk? Heck yeah. It is funny to me how, like, I'm still learning about new furry bait characters, or, like, new furry characters I just wasn't aware of. I didn't say it was horny, I said it was vorny. Having a food sona is vorny. I'll say it. Where was I at? Vorny? Consume. Yes, vorny. Horny for vor. Oh, yes, that's right. This song in particular has like 30 seconds of silence at the end of it. Not that there's anything wrong with being vorny. Croissant Durgs are cute. Croissant! But yeah, no. Because like I was recently made aware of buddy card fight. Buddy card fight Vanguard. I don't know. It's not something. With bats or bots, and I can't remember the other one, but because I had seen those characters forever, and I legitimately thought they were someone's OC for like the longest fucking time. It's Buddy Fight. For the longest time, I thought that it was someone's OC, and that was just really, really popular. That like people were like, yeah, I love drawing this guy's OC. I did not realize that it was an entire show. Okay, I'm a DME something I can't say because Swearroll would see, and it would be a spoiler for them. Excellent. So now I will spoil it for them. I don't like how the bed is a single item. Some of the ways that the like item structures are handled do concern me. So I'm like, this, you know, like, okay, the bed headboard is its own item, but the pillow isn't? This is like Pop Mud right now. This is Pop Mud after he accidentally drank the weed beer. Oh, Pokemon Ocean, I'm glad to have you, Sweet Bean. That room was poison. Pokemon and Polo, glad to have you, Sweet Bean. Can you get a show for Polo to Rue? Honestly, to be perfectly honest with you, how do I crouch again? This is kind of how I'm trying to be. Not a single thought going on between those eyes. Stark, how's your weekend go, dude? It went all right. Relatively laid back, which is a nice change of pace. I wish I could have gotten like more personal project stuff done for like, you know, mostly just like job applications, but I am of course grateful for the opportunity to rest, and I honestly probably should have done, you know, as much as I wish I could have gotten job applications in, I think it was wiser that I just rested up. It's weird that the main character of the first 3 seasons of Buddy Fight marries the weird reporter lady with a fucking UFO octopus buddy. I don't know anything about that show, so I will take your word for it that is in fact a plot line that happens. I'm like, you could just be lying. So like I actually have an idea for a stream recently. I would need to find a couple of willing victims / participants